What's interesting with sounds, and this is true of everything in the world, but like some certain sounds, you'll know, everyone has their own, carry with, so sounds just come and hit your body, right? It's just vibrations hitting your eardrums. But then there are certain sounds that we have certain reactions to, and some will just like build up, oh my God, I hate the traffic or whatever it is. So, and then certain sounds that have a reaction to will come with it like a whole story instantly. Oh, why did I buy this house? I got to live on this, and so notice, particularly with sounds, are a really nice vector, for noticing this. But notice when you hear a sound and the story just starts up, and then just have a little look at what the reaction is. And the one you described sounded quite innocuous. It's not. There might be a small little, oh my God, it's so noisy, but there's not some whole built up. There could be, but chances are there's not some whole built up thing. So part of the sounds, the practice is certainly to go into them and just listen to them kind of just as sounds. A little bit the way an artist will look at a scene in front of them and see it in terms of shape and color and this sort of thing, as opposed to telling the story about it or having a reaction to it. Just see it for what it is. And if you're trying to focus on breath and all that's going on there, then in a way you just have to allow it to keep coming in. You'll start to notice that what you fight tends to get stronger. So there's this way of like, how do I not fight it and just smile at the fact that it impeded my flow of my practice, but I just have a smile at that. Thanks, Margaret. Have a good day. Yeah, so it's a little bit surfing. That's a little magpie wave that came in and you just have to like sort of bob with it, And then you'll notice that when you are in a deep state of concentration, sometimes the exact same thing will happen and you'll barely or not at all notice it. And both are okay.
There's a little bit of story attached to it because it's the magpies usually dive bomb us as cyclists.
Yeah.
It's kind of like, actually, that's pretty neat. Now the birds dive bombing the magpies. So I think it was a bit of payback or something. I'm not sure. Like, So yeah, my mind was just all over the place because of the story.
Yeah, and it's really just interesting.
It's just a story. It's just a made-up story.
It's a made-up story, but I mean, it's your lived experience and all that. But it's still it's history. It'll probably be the future as well, but it's not right now. But it's just so interesting to watch how quickly, when this mind finds a story, it just oh good, it's story. And it will just go forever. And oh, I think I heard it. And once it's in a story, it'll go from story to story to story. And generally, it'll spiral more into stories, but it will also simultaneously spiral towards more reactivity. You will usually start with some innocuous story, and then you'll be like, oh, that kind of bugs me. And then that feeling, that little reaction of it bugs me, that will say, okay, what else bugs me? Not consciously, but it just starts magnetizing things to it. And then pretty soon you're like focusing on your arch enemy and you're all curled up, and you're all bitter and whatnot. And you're like, but 30 seconds ago, I was just practicing. It was fine. Yeah, but what's really insightful is to be able to watch that happen. And something like the magpies doesn't carry quite as strong a charge, as many other things could. I mean, it might, but the things that are a bit softer are easier to see our habits.